and welcome to this week's YouTube video. Today I'm in my studio and we are doing a black background setup. So I'm just going to walk you through how I have set up this shot and what you need to think about when you are making your own black background photo shoots as well. So are you ready? Let's get started. So the first thing you need to do with a black background is choose the material that you are going to use for your background. Now, you can just use a black piece of paper. I'm actually using a black tablecloth at the moment for mine. Essentially, the softer the material, the better it is for creating a black background. So something like black velvet would actually be the best material if you have access to that. I don't, that's why I'm using a black tablecloth. The next thing you want to do is to put your subject as far away from the background as you can. So we're photographing this liqueur bottle here today. As you can see, I've actually got my table that I've got the bottle on about halfway across my room, giving us plenty of space between the background and the product. The more space that is between the background and the product, the darker the background will appear. This is because there will be less light drop off from your product and from the lights you are using to light up your product onto the background. So the next thing I did was to actually place my bottle on top of a prop box that I have created. If you want to learn how to make your own prop boxes like this one, check out the video which I made a while ago on that. The link is in the description. And then I've just covered that box with a black scarf that I happen to have in my wardrobe. Again, a nice soft black material to help absorb that light and to create that black bottom of the scene as well, because obviously we want that to fit in with the black background. Another thing you could use for the base of your photo is some black reflective material, a mirror, black plastic, things like that can create that nice reflective look that you can get in photos as well. I tend to use mirrors for smaller products that I'm photographing, where I'm photographing down on top of the product. So again, if you want to learn more about photographing using mirrors as backgrounds, I'll drop the link to a video I did on that in the description as well. The next thing we have is the lighting. So I've got one light set up on the right hand side of my product here. It doesn't really matter whether you have it left or right, it just depends on your personal preference for that. I just have put it to the right because that's easy and I have the space over to the right of this scene. And it's slightly towards the front, but not too much towards the front, and then pointing directly at the product. And this is just a ring light that I got from Kmart. Again, there's a link in the description to a review I did on these ring lights. And I've just put this on the lowest setting on the white light. It does have quite a few other settings, but for this I'm using the lowest light setting that we have. And with the light, it's all just about playing around, moving it around to work out where you want it to fall. If you've got a reflective product like I have here with a glass bottle, it's all about working out where those reflections are going to be, and just moving the light. Little changes make a huge difference when doing something like this. The second light I have is just this little square LED light here. And I'm just literally hand holding this as I take the pictures to hold it up where I want it, position it to get a little bit of light on that label on the front there, just to make sure that we can actually clearly see the label and light it up. Now, whether you need a second light, something like this, will depend on the product that you are shooting and whether or not you want any light on the front of the product. You may even just want that side light, or even move the side light towards the back a bit more to get more of a rim light effects where you get that sort of glow around the edge of the product. Finally, we have the camera here on a tripod. I've got my 50mm lens on, so that allows me actually to be reasonably close to the product without distorting it. I'm using that because of the limited space we have by moving the product so far away from the background. I didn't want to be using a long lens. I would normally be using something between a 50 and a 100mm lens for this, but the 50mm is perfect for what we are doing today. In terms of the settings, I have put my aperture up to the highest f number, so we are on f22. The reason for that is that it's a much smaller hole and it lets a lot less light in. So that helps to make sure that your background is darker by reducing the amount of light and the width of those beams of light that are coming through the lens. If you want to learn more about that and how light travels through the lens and the f numbers, aperture, all of that stuff, please do let me know in the comments and I can reach out to you with more information on how you can learn about that. As with anything that I am shooting, I always try to keep my ISO as low as possible, and because we have access to a tripod here, that means my ISO is on 100, the lowest I can put it on this camera. And then basically I've just used the light meter to set my shutter speed. Now I've actually, with the light meter, actually got it a couple of stops underexposed. The reason for that is because if I had the light meter correctly exposed, then my black background wouldn't come out black. It would actually come out grey, because your light meter is designed to balance all the colors to a mid-grey, which is not what we want for this image. We want a black background. So to get that, we need to actually underexpose our image slightly. Okay, so that is everything that I wanted to cover in this video. I hope that you have found it useful to see how I set up a black background product shoot. In the next video that I'm going to be making, which will come out next week, I'm going to go through how I edit this photo in Adobe Lightroom. So if you want to see that, make sure that you subscribe to this channel to get notified when it comes out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.